Hello, welcome to another episode of Raine B Plays Animal Crossing. Today I'm going to show you my new island, the beginnings of my new island. But before I start talking about that, I just really quickly want to explain why I haven't been able to upload for a while. It was another issue with my computer. Entirely my fault though. I had no idea that my editing software saved everything. And in the middle of working on this island, the Elgato shut off and I got a message from my computer saying, "You're running out of storage space. Please free up some." And I'm like, what? So I started going through everything. I took out my little SanDisk, whatever it's called, a little stick. It's got 16 gigabytes storage on it. So I put my pictures and my music on there. That only freed up 2 gigabytes. And I went through my video files. I had been working on 2 Sims 4 lots. Hadn't made actual videos yet, but I got rid of them like a dummy. And I also got rid of a majority of what I wanted to show you here. Before I realized, I went into my Wondershare folder and that's when I saw it. So long story short, I cleaned out the cache, the temp, the saves, the backups. Oh, so stupid. But I'm looking into buying an external hard drive and just putting my editing software on that, and then hopefully I'll never have another issue. It's really, really silly. So I'm sorry. Nobody's more sorry than me though. So much work lost because I was dumb. So, but at least I learned. Now I know. Ugh, what a mess. Anyway, I thought I would discuss the pros and cons of starting a second island the way I did. Alright, you know what? Again, long story short, let's just put it this way. I know there are people out there who have done it, but personally, I could not see myself taking my very first island and just wiping it clean and starting all over from scratch. No way. This was a tough choice here. The bottom right looks like the island I had. The top right, I have no idea what that would be, but it didn't look right to me. The bottom left looked like my daughter's island, and that top left one that I'm pointing at was the one that I just thought, you know, I could go for it. I know a lot of people tell you to look at the distance between your airport and the Tom Nook Town Hall Plaza, whatever it's called. I don't really worry about that too much because, yes, I like to make my island look nice, but I don't have a ton of friends who constantly come over to my island where I'd want it to look good at the entrance. But designing an entrance sounds like a fun idea. Excuse me, that's the other thing. Having sinus issues again, so I'm sorry about my voice. I chose a lamp that time just to be funny. I think the last time I chose something to bide my time, which a lot of people probably choose. But I never understood the point of that question, and I know they say it's just theoretical, but why are you asking if there isn't a point to it? So I don't know. I hope I didn't I hope I didn't stab myself in the foot with that one, but I was very pleased with the island I ended up getting. It was exactly what I wanted. I wanted pears, and I got pears, and I know pears is unpopular, and I don't care. Not into this for the popularity game. Even when I was younger, popularity drove me nuts. I never understood it because the majority of the popular people were yucky people. So with the good comes the bad, and you can tell my 2 friends here are the absolute worst choices that you could give me. Sprocket and Diva, a frog and a robot. Sprocket's hair in the back is the reason I can't stand him. I just can't stand it. And Diva is all head, just like I said she'd be. But they're very sweet. They're cute islanders. And again, they all are. It's very difficult not to like when you meet them, you know what I mean? Looking at them, yeah, you can decide, but once you meet them, it's hard not to like them anymore. So Desporus is just French for pears. Me with my lack of imagination. And again, it's not like I didn't sit here for hours going, what should I call it? What should I call it? I'm not good at coming up with spur of the moment things, quirky things. Oh, I guess you would call me a very boring person in that regard. But when I'm under the gun, nothing works. My brain stops, my mouth stops, my hearing stops, everything just freezes. So, and it's not like I was, this is a job interview, chance of a lifetime, but I'm just saying, I can't think under pressure. I never could. Now, I got the worst tent out of the three. Diva got the best one, but I love this cot. I'm still sleeping on this cot. I've never seen a cot like that before, and I fell in love with it. The one on my other island was just red, and then I think I get the occasional green one, but I love that cot. Also, I was a little reluctant. Oh, I wasn't a little. I was reluctant to leave my tent. I kind of like the minimalist idea of it. But the point of this game is to advance. And KK here is the reason. If you want terraforming, you have to get KK to appear on your island. And in order to get KK to appear on your island, you have to have 10 islanders? I think it's, all 10 islanders and a ton of items. The first time I played this game, I didn't really get into the DIY items because I kept looking at them aesthetically instead of value-wise. I didn't like any of the log items, a majority of the wood items, the stone. I just didn't care for any of it, so I never made any of it. But this time around, I made practically every DIY item that I had, and I just tossed it on my island. I've got so much junk on my island right now, it's not funny, but it worked to speed up the process. So, the 10 islanders, all the items, flowers, trees, things like that, keeping the island clean, and then the next thing you know, KK will say he has heard a lot of great things about the island and he wants to visit. KK shows up, he does his concert, and the next day, surprise, surprise, yay! So that's what I'm kind of taking you through here. I hope you'll remember what the original island looked like too, because that was part of the problem. I took a beautiful shot of my island before the storage kerfuffle occurred. And I should have saved that one. But I was so desperate, I just got rid of everything. I'm like, how did this happen? How did it go to 97% full? How in the world did this happen? Oy, oy, oy. But now it's back down to 45%, so at least I can breathe again. The passport is fun. I like doing this. I'm just showing you the parts of the reason I enjoy this game. I think it's funny. I keep changing my, not the title. Is it the comment? No, the title. My title. I think that's fun. Because when you visit your friends' islands and you talk to their villagers, and then you go back home, those villagers will talk to your friend and say, do you know what their title is? It's so cute. So I enjoy doing that. I like the postcards. This is my very first catch. A tire. Now, I don't know if this was purposeful so that I could get another DIY, but I doubt it. I doubt it. That was just my very first catch in the river, and then my first catch in the sea. Guess what it is? You'll never guess. Sea bass. Yay. Oy. Lots of great firsts. Okay, so continue with the pros and cons. It's difficult for me to say, oh, go buy another switch and just start another one that way. It's not a cheap endeavor, and $2.99 might not sound like a lot of money to some people, but it might as well be $1 million to somebody else. So I don't like saying, yeah, just do it. The choice is yours, obviously. I just hope people do it wisely, skip the rent, let's buy a switch. Skip food, let's buy a switch. That to me would be horrific. But as I was mentioning earlier, me personally, I don't know how I would feel about completely deleting my first island just to be able to start all over again. I just don't think I would enjoy that. I would be crestfallen immediately. I know I would. I would regret the decision the moment I made it. So I didn't want to take that chance. And I know this sounds so serious when it's just a game. But it's fun. It's a fun game. I'm trying to make good content out of it. So there are reasons for what I do. But I also understand the triviality of it at the same time. So that would be a to each his own situation, I think. There's nothing wrong with taking the island you have, moving all of your neighbors to the beach, and then just flattening it. Get rid of everything and then make something new. You can do that 100 times. And it's kind of the same thing as starting over. The only difference being you have to keep the fruit that you started with. But there again, what difference does it make if eventually you're going to have all of those fruits on your island anyway? You can move the rivers where you want them to go. You can move mountains. You can get rid of mountains. So having a second island isn't that, crucial, that important, that it's just something I felt like doing. I like peaches, don't get me wrong. I just wanted a pear island, and I wanted to experience this. And I figured that would be a good way to create content. So here's my very first camper, Shocks. Now this is another thing. I'm sure I messed up here. I could not remember doing this the first time around. But I took him because I thought I had to. And I'm probably wrong. Now, Jocks isn't who I would look for. He's a smug. But he's not that bad. I call him Bing now because he looks like Bing Crosby. So Bing and I are getting along. He's pretty mellow for a smug. He's not bothersome. He's not in your face. He doesn't pester the other islanders. He just kind of moseys around, does his own thing. He'll watch if people are singing in the plaza. He'll watch you if you're fishing. But he really doesn't pester anyone the way some of my smugs have. So I finally have Mr. Slider on my island. You can see I've got everybody there. It took a while, but not nearly as long as it did the first time around. And that's another thing. with being under pressure. The reason I don't remember a lot of my first island is because of that. It was brand new to me. I was focused, hyper-focused probably. And so a lot of the details are just missing from my memory as a result. But I do understand the mechanics of the game, and that's important. I wanted terraforming, and I want to fix up the island the way I want it. But this has turned into an island of misfit toys. There are villagers I really like, and there are villagers I really don't like. And again, the trouble being, once you meet them and you start living with them, they all become so sweet and so endearing that the choice becomes harder and harder to make. But there are still a few here that are like, no, I'll switch you with somebody else. But the island of misfit toys, pardon me, appeals to me as well. I've got one island with semi-nice villagers, and this island can be where the misfit toys go. I don't mind that either. But there are a few villagers that I will say goodbye to, and hopefully I'll be able to make island hopping videos. Every single one of these villagers I found within the first 3 hops. And that just doesn't make for good watching, good video making. So I wasn't able to share any of those with you guys. So, but my next video will just show you who I have and what the inside of the house looks like. And then later I'll show you how I'm coming along with my terraforming. So I finally got my terraforming from Tom Nook. Yay! So that's what I'm doing currently, and I'll share that experience with you guys as well. So it was fun. It is fun. It's different. I'm not neglecting my first island, but like I said, there's just very little left to do on that island. So what I'm seriously thinking about doing is raising it again and redesigning it. I don't mind. It's fun. So let's see what happens. But I do hope you enjoyed this. I know it was a little long, and I apologize for that. I'm not making up for lost days doing this. I just didn't know what to cut out. And believe me, I cut out a lot. But because I had so little to work with, I just, what do I do? What do I do? But anyway, thank you so much. I really appreciate your supporting my channel. And I do hope you have a wonderful day as well. Bye-bye.